Okay, so let's get right into it. In this explainer, we're going to break down a really powerful, super actionable protocol that's designed to completely reset your brain. We're talking about exposing that invisible thing that's been draining your ambition and showing you exactly how to get it back so life can actually start to feel exciting again. All right, first up, before we even get to the solutions, we have to pull back the curtain and expose the real villain of the story here. You know, the one thing that's been quietly sabotaging your motivation this whole time. So let's just start with this central question, right? What is it that's really making you feel stuck, drained, unable to focus on the stuff that actually matters to you? You know, the answer? It might surprise you. And this reframes the entire problem. See, the myth, the story we tell ourselves is that we're just lazy, right? But the truth? No. The truth is your brain is just overstimulated. It's been trained by the world we live in to crave things that are fast, easy, and honestly, pretty meaningless in the long run. Okay, so to really get how this all works, we've got to look at a little bit of the brain science behind it. And that brings us to this really crucial difference between desire and pleasure. And here it is. This is a fascinating distinction that most people get wrong. See, we all think dopamine is the pleasure chemical, but it's not. It's the desire chemical. It's the I want molecule. You don't get the hit when you win. You get it when you think you might win. It's that constant maybe. You know, maybe someone liked my post, maybe there's a new video to watch. That endless search, that seeking, that's the hook. And this quote just nails the result, doesn't it? When your brain is constantly flooded with all that easy dopamine, your whole baseline for what feels rewarding gets completely messed up. All of a sudden, doing actual productive work feels impossible. But mindless scrolling? Yeah, that feels as necessary as breathing. And this brings us to a really critical point. It's like there are two versions of you, and they're constantly fighting for control. You've got version A, the overstimulated you, who just wants comfort, shortcuts, and those quick dopamine hits. And then you've got version B, the focused, disciplined you that actually craves meaningful work. And here's the kicker. The one you feed dopamine to is the one that wins. This whole detox is about learning how to reward the right one. Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. The very first part of this protocol is all about taking back control, and we do that by intentionally designing our environment for success. So the first step, it requires a moment of just brutal honesty with yourself. You have to ask this question: where is my dopamine actually coming from every day? And seriously, no sugarcoating it. And this table really makes the distinction clear, right? On one side, you've got those quick, cheap hits, social media, junk food, adult entertainment. And on the other side, you've got what we can call real dopamine, the earned rewards from things like deep work, exercise, or real meaningful connection. Now, if your life is mostly dominated by that list on the left, well, that's a pretty clear sign your reward system is being hijacked. So here's the three-step fix. It's pretty simple. First, you've got to strip the noise. That just means making distractions harder to get to. Put your phone in another room when you need to work. Simple. Second, showcase the essentials. You want to make good habits the easiest possible choice. Leave a book on your nightstand instead of your phone. And third, align your space with your future self. Design it for the person you're becoming, not the person you are right now. Because remember, your environment, it's like the silent puppeteer of your habits. All right, now for the core of the whole protocol. This is the big one. This is where we actually reset your brain back to its factory settings. To find that clear-headed, motivated version of you that's probably been buried under all this noise. Okay, the core rule. It's incredibly simple, but trust me, it is powerful. For 7 days, just 1 week, absolutely no artificial dopamine for the first 3 to 5 hours of your day. That's it. It's the most important rule. It's non-negotiable. And just to be crystal clear, this means avoiding everything you see here. No social media, no scrolling through short-form videos, no junk food, no Cornhub. Basically any reward that you don't have to put effort in for. And yeah, it's gonna feel a little itchy at first. That's kind of the whole point. But look, you can't just create a void, right? You have to replace the bad habits with better ones. So you fill that morning time with things like this. Go for a walk, work out, clean something, have a mindful breakfast, actually plan your day, read a real book, or work on building a skill. These things, they give you that healthy, earned dopamine that actually builds you up instead of tearing you down. Okay, so now let's see how this 7-day reset starts to build a daily structure that will fundamentally rebuild your motivation from the ground up. Think of this as the blueprint for an ideal day. The morning is for getting a meaningful win, and no fake dopamine until you've done it. Midday is not for scrolling. It's for a real reset, like a short walk or some stretching. And the evening is all about calming down. No screens before bed, so you can prep your brain for the next day. And remember, a great morning always, always starts the night before.
So look, if you remember nothing else from this entire explainer, remember this one simple principle: delay dopamine. Just stop getting it before you've earned it. You don't have to quit everything forever, but you have to stop rewarding yourself before you've put in the work. The moment you do that, your brain it shifts. It goes from seeking cheap stimulation to seeking real, actual purpose.
And finally, let's talk about the big mindset shift, the thing that actually makes all of this stick for the long haul. This goes way beyond simple discipline. We're moving into something much deeper. We're talking about dignity. Here's the ultimate truth of it all. True transformation, the kind that lasts, it's not about a lack of strategy. It's about a lack of self-respect. See, most people fail not because they don't know what to do, but because their actions will always, always sink to the level of what they believe they deserve. So the final phase here is just to raise the standard for how you treat yourself. And this question, this becomes your new compass. Every day. Before you make a decision, before you reach for your phone, just ask yourself this: if I genuinely respected my future, how would I act right now? The answer to that will guide you. This isn't just about discipline anymore. It's about having enough self-respect to refuse to do anything that drags you backward.
And all of that leads us to this final big question. What actually happens when you detox long enough that discipline, it just becomes your default setting? When doing the right thing is easier than doing the wrong thing? I mean, that's a level of freedom most people never, ever experience. So try this protocol for just 1 week, and you'll start to find out for yourself.